Hello, welcome to the channel. This is Danny Lee OGT. That is Gregory Schmitt, aka Greg. So, we are going to be doing a wet song. The last song we done by Led Zeppelin was The Ocean, I think. And this is the Rain Song. And this is post John Bonham, but maybe the only song that would not have had John Bonham in it were he alive, because it's just an acoustic vocal and guitar version of it.
Was the Ocean done first or was it Gallows Pole? I remember us doing both of those.
First, I was just saying, yeah,
Yeah,
I just thought the last reaction might have been The Ocean. It was definitely
because
one
of
of the
the
last
waiting
two.
time and copyrights, it definitely blurs the time there. Led
Basically,
Zeppelin is always
we've done The Ocean before, so
yes.
we're going to do the Rain Song now. And the lyrics are pretty, you can look them up while we start it there, bud, if you want to. And
All right.
this was uploaded 13 years ago. Has 18 million views. The Rain Song from No Quarter, Jimmy Page and Robert Plant. Unleaded, they call it, with the London Metropolitan Orchestra. So there is a drummer, Michael Lee, bass Charlie Jones. I guess he's some kind of kin to John Paul, or his name is Jones. But I don't really see a bassist and a drummer. Either way, seems like a acoustic song to me.
It is the springtime of my loving, the second season I'm to know. You are the sunlight in my growing, so little warm I felt before. It isn't hard to feel me glowing. I watched the fire that grew so low.
And there comes the orchestra. In the springtime of my loving, the second season I am to know. You are the sunlight in my growing, so little warmth I've felt before. It isn't hard to feel me glowing. I've watched the fire that grew so low. It is the summer of my smiles. Flee from my keepers, flee from me, keepers of the gloom. Speak to me only with your eyes. It is to you I give this tune. Ain't so hard to recognize. These things are clear to all from time to time. Talk, talk, talk. I've felt the coldness of my winter. I've never thought it would ever go. I curse the gloom that set upon us, but I know that I love you so. These are the seasons of my emotion, And like the winds, they rise and fall. This is the wonder of devotion. I seek the torch we all must hold. This is the mystery of the coldest quotient.
Quotient.
Quotient? What is that? Upon us all. It's just a little rain. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Wow, so mesmerizing. Mesmerizing.
It's a beautiful song. Has that mystical feel that Zeppelin's known for. This is our first time reacting to kind of older Plant and Page as well. It's interesting to see how they've matured as musicians. But Plant still has kind of that elastic quality in his vocals. You know, some of that freedom. He's not belting super, super high like he used to, but the song really doesn't call for that. Going to bet he can still pull it off when he wants to, but he still has that really nice focused tone. Um, so both obviously it's not John Paul Jones on the bass, and this is after um, John Bonham's passing away. Uh, it's interesting. Zeppelin was always one of those bands that all four members kind of contributed, but I think Zeppelin has a way Plant and Page's personalities and their musician skills are so distinct that this still does feel like Zeppelin. And I think Jimmy Page in particular, I don't think his influence is recognized as much as it should be. Like when we talk about how guitar players have influenced future generations, it's almost always in how they play, particularly in how they play lead. Jimmy Page not only influenced guitarists by how he soloed, but how he played acoustic, how he combined acoustic and electric guitars, how he arranged things, how he arranged, for rock bands and orchestras. So I think Page's influence goes way beyond what his fingers did on a fretboard. And of course, Robert Plant is Robert Plant. He's one of the most iconic singers ever. But this is a brilliant, beautiful song. Loving it. Love the combination of the acoustics and the orchestra.
And to be clear for the viewers, I'm not reacting. I've heard this song a billion times. I've seen them in their older age a billion times. So, I don't know about a billion, but yeah, I just realized this is your first time seeing. This is probably the most lackadaisical I've seen Robert Plant in a video. Ironically, growing up, like, we always thought about John Bonham and Jimmy Page. I'm thinking about Robert Plant being near as influential as, like, I do now. Like, most of my life, it was Jimmy Page, one of the best guitar players ever, and John Bonham, one of the best drummers ever. Robert Plant was just, like, I never noticed their lyrics were all sexual, really, for a long time. And that the noises were orgasmic. That's been all since I've been a reactor. So.
It's funny how being a reactor does make you see aspects of music you might not have just casually listening.
It really does.
The summer of my smile, flee from me, keepers of the bloom, speak to me only with your eyes. It is to you I give this tune. It isn't hard to recognize home. This is a mystery on the quotient. Just a little rainbow song. Just a little rain. Oh, yeah. Just a little rain. Oh, yeah.
seem really sad.
I
Um,
guess maybe remembering old times, uh, remembering lost friends. It's
m- his son for sure.
no doubt, no doubt.
John
His father
Bonham,
stood up after that.
and maybe this is after John Paul passed. Um,
Yeah. The
and that's what
guest musicians here. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think the Rain song was. Yeah, I knew that was a Zeppelin song before they were all gone. Um, yeah, yeah, for sure. I guess I don't know for sure. Go ahead though.
I think
Let me
the
cut
guest
you off.
musicians they've got here playing the bass and drums respectively, they're doing a very good job. You don't envy anyone that's got to step in the shoes like John Paul Jones and John Bonham. I think they're holding their own. Gentleman on drums did some really cool like heavy fills. One of which Robert Plant was matching with his vocal, which was really cool. Uh, I like how Robert's voice in a lot of the song had almost like a speech type delivery. And then when things started picking up, he started doing the classic Robert Plant ooh yeahs and the oh ohs. And when Robert Plant is singing ohs, we're not just talking about the vowel here, but he picked up the intensity a lot more sustain in his voice. It's not the Robert Plant of old, but he still has it. And I like how after that big uh, uplift in intensity, everything just kind of quiet down. Like it was a brief storm that hit. Now everything's getting a bit more tranquil. Page throwing the pick away was an awesome move. Uh, both guys, I mean, they're amazing musicians, even in their later years, so to speak. And I'm talking about them like they're 80 years old. Plant is still making music. I think he's doing duets with Alison Krauss now, so I definitely like to hear some of that. But it was a very emotional song. It had tides, for lack of a better term. I'm still drawn to Page's arrangement though. Like as far as arrangements for an acoustic guitar on these kinds of pieces, Page is singular because he's not the type of guy that's just going to strum chords. He's like was doing chords, he was doing picking, he was varying his strokes, he was finger picking at the end. It was the arrangement was always in motion. It was always doing something interesting. Again, I think those are the things that Page is. Those are the influences that Page has passed on to the next generation. I think maybe even subliminally, for lack of a better term. But always good to hear Robert and Jimmy perform together. So even their smiles at the end, they were kind of almost sad smiles, but smiles nonetheless. I think they knew the song hit, they knew it. It felt good, and in that moment, I think they were very happy, and just I guess that happiness did make them think of other things. But that's what music does. That's what great music does. It makes us feel.
Ah, I just found the meaning of the song.
Okay,
Um,
do too.
I've been trying to figure that out. Um, and it definitely is from Houses of the Holy. So
Okay.
this orchestral arrangement was a little different, even though it had orchestra then. Um, so Page wrote the Rain Song in response to George Harrison's complaining to Led Zeppelin drummer John Bonham that the group were unable to write ballads. In Light and Shade, Conversations with Jimmy Page, biographer Brad Talinsky quotes Page's reaction. George was talking to Bonzo one evening and said, "The problem with you guys is that you never do ballads." I said, "I'll give him a ballad," and I wrote Rain Song, which appears on Houses of the Holy. In fact, you'll notice I even quote something in the song's first two chords. So,
So basically, the song was Jimmy Page saying, "Oh yeah," to George Harrison.
yeah.
That actually does describe a lot of Jimmy Page's writing career, though. Even like he mentioned when writing "Stairway to Heaven," it was designed to go against what was sort of taught musically. That's yeah, rebel to the end. Thumbs up and horns up for Jimmy Page. But again, Zeppelin is one of those bands that their talent exceeds their legend. Always a blast to hear them. And like I said, when you react to these songs and you're trying to pick things out, you definitely hear things that you may not have had just cruising down the highway listening to it. this is definitely sort of a song to listen to with the lights turned off and kind of sitting in your chair, just thinking, remembering
Yeah.
possibly.
Reflecting. Yeah.
Hmm.
I'll say that it seems. I mean, Jimmy Page killed that performance. Don't get me wrong. That is so hard to play an acoustic that well, even though it had the electrics in it. It's still an acoustic. It's a little harder to play. I think that's why he sits down the whole time. I've never seen Jimmy Page sit down that long. He still played it with his eyes closed, but he was fixated. I mean, or the guitar was. He knew exactly where it was. It wasn't flopping around with him, dancing, kicking feet up. Of course, it wasn't really a happy song either. But it seemed like it had a deeper meaning than just "Screw you, George Hamilton" or George Harrison.
The lyrics, at least to me, sort of seem to be comparing I guess, the stages of a relationship, the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys, with the seasons. You've got the summer where everything's bright and hot. You got the fall where everything's sort of maybe getting a little bit gray. You have the winters where it seems like nothing is working out, but then eventually the light pokes through again, and it's springtime. So that natural rhythm of things.
The orchestra that is the universe.
There's
All
the
right,
Universal Orchestra. I love that.
no doubt. All right, so mental health is real, and I'm not on my microphone. Get up there. All right,
So if you're still here at the end of this, shout out to Pixie. You know who you are. I love you. Some more Zeppelin for you.
Pixie, did he really ask you if you're still going to be here at the end? Yeah, much love, girl. And peace out. We outie.